Today we'll be covering the best snacks around the EPCOT World Showcase that are available year-round. Hello and welcome to the Let's Go to Disney podcast. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Lucy.
Today is Sunday, July 7th, and you're listening to episode 43. Snack your way around the world, EPCOT's best year-round treats. Before we get into some delicious EPCOT eats, here's what's going on in the parks right now. The Eat to the Beat concert series lineup, coming to EPCOT's Food and Wine Festival for this year, was announced on Monday. There are many returning artists this year like The Fray, Sugar Ray, Smash Mouth, as well as some new talent like Yellowcard, The Wanted, David Archuleta, among many others as well. The shows will take place Friday to Monday once Food and Wine kicks off. Of course, Eat to the Beat dining packages will also be available to book starting on July 9th. Over in Magic Kingdom, Peter Pan's flight will be closing for maintenance on July 8th. This closure is currently projected to last through August 20th, with a potential reopening date of August 21st. These dates are subject to change, but definitely something to be mindful of if you have an upcoming trip this summer. Peter Pan's flight is consistently one of the busiest rides in the park, so that may impact your rope drop plans, depending on what your overall strategy is.
It would definitely affect us if we were going at that time.
It definitely would, yeah, 100%. Rock and Roller Coaster reopened on Monday, July 1st. As suspected, nothing changed here, so the pre-show and the ride experience remain unchanged, and this was simple routine maintenance just to keep the attraction running smoothly. Over at Universal Orlando, the Mega Movie Parade has arrived at the Universal Studios Florida Park. It features floats from iconic movie franchises like E.T., Back to the Future, Jurassic World, Ghostbusters, Jaws, among many others. This is the largest parade that Universal has ever put on, and initial reactions are really positive. It looks great, and it's really nice to see offerings like these over in the Universal parks.
Absolutely. Some of my favorite movies come from Universal Studios, so it'd be really cool to see that. Back to the Future, my all-time favorite.
Yeah, agreed. And you'll not usually see the same level of entertainment over in the Universal park. So
True.
The fact that they have a parade with floats, kind of it's
I think
nice
that was
to see.
smart on their part.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, everyone is still reeling from the massive news that dropped on June 25th, and that's that Genie Plus is being replaced by Lightning Lane Multipass, and individual Lightning Lanes are being replaced by Lightning Lane Single Pass. All of this takes effect on July 24th, which is a Wednesday, and that's coming up quickly in less than 2.5 weeks. The most significant change is that you'll now be able to book up to 3 Lightning Lanes in advance of your trip. That will be 7 days ahead of your check-in day if you're staying on property, and 3 days ahead of your first park day if you're staying off property. The attractions will now be tiered at Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and EPCOT, but not at Animal Kingdom. Everything that was on Genie Plus over there is being rolled into Lightning Lane Multipass. This is obviously a significant change that will take some adapting to if you've already gotten used to Genie Plus. Note for our Canadian listeners, we've been kind of left in limbo as to if we will actually be able to book at 7 days with the resort reservation. Disney hasn't made an official announcement on that front, but there have been encouraging signs from travel agencies and Plan Disney panelists who received communications from Disney that Canadians would be able to book. At this point, we feel like we won't really know until July 24th when people actually their booking window opens and they'll be able to start booking. That'll give us a hard answer. And we'll really find out from there what exactly Canadians are entitled to. If anything changes or official word is shared by Disney, we'll share it here as well. 2 of my friends are actually planning trips to Disney in January and February 2025. So that was definitely a hot topic of discussion this week. Last week's episode 42, we did a deep dive into the changes. So go check that out if you want to learn more. On that note, our September trip is slowly approaching. Our 60-day window is going to be opening in a couple of weeks, and we're really looking forward to that. We're doing Universal Orlando for 2 nights and 3 days on the front end of this trip, and we're staying at the Royal Pacific Resort over there. That's a premier resort, so it'll give us access to unlimited express pass, and we're really excited for that.
Yes.
We're getting to Orlando much earlier than normal. Usually we don't get in until late afternoon between 3 and 5 p.m. depending. Usually that's just based on the flights that are available from our local airport. This time we're flying to Toronto, overnighting at a hotel by the airport, and a quick turnaround the next morning for a flight out that'll get us to Orlando just after 10:30 in the morning. The plan is to take an Uber to Universal, leave our bags at Bell Services, grab our room keys, and hit the ground running. We'll do 2 nights like we said, and our last day we'll leave our bags with Bell Services again, do our park day, and then take an Uber to Animal Kingdom Lodge, and we'll have 6 nights and 5 park days at Disney. We'll take you along with us, of course, and share our experiences along the way. And as we talk about our upcoming trip here, I realize we've never really introduced ourselves on the podcast with a little more background about us. So I just wanted to take a quick minute today to do that. So here goes. So as you guys know, I'm a huge Disney fan. Obviously, the first time I visited a Disney park was actually 11 years ago when I was 22. We went with Lucy's parents, and this was before we had our kids. I absolutely fell in love with Disney. The first time I entered Magic Kingdom, which was the first park we visited, I was just overwhelmed with emotion, and it was instant. I kind of inherently knew that I'd want to keep coming back again and again. And I've felt that pull ever since. At the time, I had just started my career as a police officer with the RCMP, and we had just moved from Ontario to Alberta. My job has taken us across the country and back again. And in that time, we got married, had our 2 beautiful kids. You know, we've had some ups and downs like everyone else in life. And now we're posted in Saskatchewan, where I currently work at our National Training Academy in Regina. On that front, it's been great so far, especially when it comes to work-life balance. I love my job and I'm passionate about it, but Disney has my heart, and that honestly, it's my love project, right? It's something that I do that brings me joy. And when I started the podcast last September, it was to share my love and knowledge of Disney with others, and I haven't looked back. I love recording the podcast week in, week out. It's something I look forward to all week. It keeps me feeling connected to Disney when we're not there, and it keeps us excited for our upcoming trips.
Absolutely. As for me, the first time I visited a Disney park was way back in 2001. I went to Disneyland with my parents and my sister. So this was actually less than a month after California Adventure had opened. So we were one of the first people to actually get to experience California Adventure. I know there's been a lot of changes since I first experienced it in 2001. I remember thinking that it was such a magical experience and that I definitely wanted to go back when I had the chance. But I didn't actually go back again until 2014. So it definitely was a little bit of a gap, but that's okay. I met Oliver before he joined the RCMP, which for our American friends is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And I was working for the RCMP already when he went into training. I worked for the organization in an administrative capacity, so I'm not a police officer, but I definitely worked behind the scenes. I've held different positions as we've transferred across the country. Saskatchewan, where we currently live, is my home province. It's where I was born and I was raised. So I'm really happy to be back raising my kids here. My parents live 12 minutes away from us. It's the ideal situation. We cannot beat this. So I also have a love for Disney. And for me, nothing beats the first time, honest to God, that we took our kids to Disney World. That feeling is unmatched. I remember watching their faces every moment that they were experiencing something new. And you'll never be able to top that feeling. And those moments are burned in my memory for life. It was such a phenomenal trip. And nowadays I look forward to our weekly episodes with Oliver, where he and I discuss what we love to do together and as a family. It ties me over in between planning our solo trips and our family trips throughout the year.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So that's us. Really, we're just like many of you, right? Your average family that love Disney, and we're fortunate enough to travel there often. And we love, having this outlet to be able to share that with you guys. All right, that's enough of that. And with that said, let's get into the thick of it. So today we'll be covering some of the best snacks that can be found around the World Showcase throughout the year. EPCOT is really a foodie's paradise. Between the showcase locations and the festivals that happen throughout the year, there's always some solid returning items and new items to try at any given time. Today we'll be covering the items that are around all the time and not specific to like any one festival. We're big advocates of taking advantage of the festivals because there's always so many fun treats and snacks to enjoy during this time. But there's some awesome options and some of our favorites, to be honest, around the World Showcase that are available all the time, almost always. And that's really what we'll be covering today. The snacks that you can find kind of anytime.
Absolutely. We're going to go around the countries and share some of our favorite snacks at each pavilion. Now, something you've likely heard is that there's a way to start the World Showcase. And some people are going to tell you you should always go left to Mexico, and other people are going to tell you should always go right and start in Canada. Honestly, we don't make a big ordeal out of it. We kind of just go where we were feeling like going that day. But for today, for no particular reason, we'll start strong in Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. So first up, we're heading into the Pyramid at the Mexico Pavilion for La Cava del Tequila. Here you can order drinks to go, but if you're able to snag a table, you can actually sit down for a beat and enjoy a delicious snack with your drink. The trio of chips with salsa, guacamole, and queso is really, really good here. So for drinks, I'm partial to the avocado margarita, which is green and may sound or look off-putting, but trust me, it's delicious. You don't even need to like avocado to like this drink. It doesn't even really taste like avocado. And Lucy likes the sangria here, but there's a ton of different options to choose from. The queso is really tasty, and we're big chips and dip people, like in general,
we love it.
Yeah, 100%. So it's right up our alley. So it's certainly worth a stop. This place does get busy though, and it has really limited seating. So if it's important to you, try to head there earlier in the day. Like, the World Showcase typically like wakes up, quote unquote, right around like 11. So that would be a good time to go there.
Yeah, I agree.
Or for a quicker stop where you don't have to necessarily worry about seating, you can head to Choza de Margarita, where you'll find similar margarita options. For eats, we suggest the Empanada de Barbacoa, which is 2 empanadas filled with barbacoa beef, chipotle sauce, crema mexicana, and queso fresco, served with a side of corn esquites. You can also find chips and guac on the menu here. They have frozen margaritas on the menu, which is nice on a sweltering EPCOT day. And for a sweeter option, we suggest just across the way, the churro sundae at La Cantina de San Angel. This is a caramel and vanilla soft serve kind of concoction with caramel sauce sauce, and mini churros coated in like a cinnamon sugar. Like we know churros in Disney World don't have the best reputation, and like in Disneyland they're so much better, but these are actually pretty good. They're small and they go really nice with that ice cream. This is really tasty but quite large, and it's sweet, right? So it's definitely shareable.
I would agree, yeah. Next up is Norway, and we're heading to Kringla Bakery og Cafe. This bakery has several sweet treats and beverage options, but you've likely heard of this treat before. It's the worst kept secret at this pavilion, and that's the school bread.
Yeah, 100%. And like I think it's pronounced shoal bread.
I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, yeah.
But anyways, everybody calls it school bread.
Yeah, everybody calls it school bread. So this is a sweet roll filled with custard and dipped in shaved coconut. It sounds and looks kind of like a donut, but has more of a dinner roll consistency, if you can envision that. It's definitely not as sweet as other pastry options, but it is tasty. You do have to be a coconut fan to enjoy this one. I am not as much of a coconut fan, but it's still tasty.
Yeah, 100%. And I like coconut.
You do, yeah.
So shaved coconut is what is on top, and it's tasty. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. The Norwegian Kringla is a pretzel-shaped pastry with almonds or chocolate toppings that is also pretty good. And wash this down with the Christoph Cafe, which is a frozen coffee with coffee chocolate sauce and garnished with coffee chocolate crunch. If you are a coffee lover, you'll love this, especially on a hot day.
Yeah, 100%. A coffee on coffee on coffee.
Pretty much,
right
with a little bit of chocolate in there too. And you can also get a spiked version called the frozen Viking coffee that comes with Bailey's and a Kamora coffee liqueur.
Yeah, it's essentially the same thing, just boozed up, essentially.
Just boozed up.
Yeah. Moving on down to the China Pavilion, or up, I guess you could say. A lot of people tend to skip this pavilion when it comes to snacks and drinks, and we can kind of see why, right? So if you're choosing between like this and all the others that are available, it's definitely like not as popular as some of the other options, but it does have a couple of standouts at this pavilion that not everyone really knows about. So let's cover those. So over at the Joy of Tea, you can grab an order of 2 pork egg rolls. These are crispy and tasty and definitely hit the spot if you enjoy egg rolls. So if you like kind of standard Americanized Chinese food, you're going to like
They're
this.
delicious, yeah.
Yeah, with a little bit of plum sauce, it's perfect. Here you can also find the Tipsy Ducks in Love, which is a bourbon, black tea, coffee, cream, and chocolate drink. It sounds strange, but it is quite tasty. So it's definitely more of a fall or winter drink in our opinion. Kind of everything here I feel like is better when it's colder out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then the bubble milk tea, which is served iced and sweetened with peach black tea and boba pearls, is also a standout on the menu.
Absolutely.
Like definitely 2 of the more popular drinks at Joy of Tea.
You can see people walking around with those usually.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the refreshment outpost between China and Germany, you can find Dole Whip and soft serve. They will rotate flavors throughout the season, but simple and effective if you're looking for those standard options.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes that's all you need, right? On a super hot day,
especially
you want to
like
stop.
Kids.
Yeah, 100%. You want to stop just for some standard, vanilla soft serve or Dole Whip. It's just a quick, easy stop. It's not usually very busy.
No, it's true.
Yeah, 100%.
Our kids love just like a simple soft serve.
Yeah. And why wouldn't you? Really?
Exactly,
so
yeah.
Good. All right, one of the heavy hitters here is the Germany Pavilion, and there are several good options here kind of spread out at different locations, and it's definitely one of our go-to stops when snacking around the World Showcase. This should come as a surprise to exactly no one, and we're heading to Caramel Kuche. I know there's a different pronunciation there, but
I think that's pretty good though.
Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, I'm sorry. But it's a treasure trove of delicious treats. Here you'll find the caramel popcorn. It's made fresh in-house, and we love to mobile order a bag, pick it up, and snack as we mosey around the World Showcase. Last November, we actually grabbed a bag and ate it while we watched the Candlelight Processional. It was glorious, right? It's hard for us to do a trip without picking some up nowadays. Like it's literally one of my favorite. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. The kids loved it too. Other tasty treats here are the caramel butter bar, the caramel snickerdoodle cookie sandwich. Around the holidays, it's made with gingerbread cookies with salted caramel and buttercream frosting, and that's also amazing. They recently added a Mickey caramel chocolate cookie sandwich that we have been eyeing. I've seen it all over social media, and it's on the list. It's 100% being tried in September, assuming that it's still there. It looks phenomenal, and it's right up our alley. The salted caramel cupcake here is also delicious. There's fudge, cookies. Honestly, we could go on, but everything is good here. We've literally yet to try something that we didn't like.
So true.
It's all good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over at Summerfest is where you'll find the pretzel bread pudding, which is kind of like a dense cake consistency with bits of pretzel with drizzled caramel and vanilla sauces. And they're pretty generous with that, which is amazing. And it's priced right at under $5. Wash that down with a Schafferhofer Pink grapefruit beer, which is
so good.
Absolutely. It's like one of our favorites around the World Showcase.
We don't share that one. We each get one.
Yeah, we each get one. Yeah, 100% because it's so good. It's basically juice. Like I think
totally
it's like 2%. It's very
it's delicious.
Honestly, if you're put off because you think it's like beer flavored, it's really not.
I'm not a huge beer drinker, and I find it exceptional. Like it is like just perfectly refreshing.
It's perfectly refreshing. I agree 100%. The bratwurst with pretzel bread pudding there is served with sauerkraut, and it's decent here too as well if you kind of like that food. And it also has a jumbo pretzel, which goes nice with the beer as well for a savory treat. If I had to choose just one pavilion to stop at, Germany would be near the top of that list. So something to consider.
I actually would agree with you on that. Yep. Next up is Italy. So much like China, Italy tends to be overlooked or skipped when it comes to snacking around the World Showcase because of the other really good options. But again, there is reason to stop here, and it's got everything to do with gelato. Mm-hmm. Over at the Gelateria Toscana, you'll find sorbets and gelato. The classic vanilla gelato is super delicious and smooth, but they have plenty of other flavors as well to choose from. And they also make sundaes and milkshakes as well, which is a really fun option.
Yep.
So right now you can also have your gelato in a cookie sandwich, which we actually haven't tried yet, but how bad could that be, really?
100% cookies with an ice cream. Yeah.
Can't go wrong. Yep. So fair warning though, this place is a little bit more expensive than your typical snack. But to be fair, the offerings here are much more elevated than just your standard soft serve. Also, the frozen red and white sangria, which sangria is my ultimate favorite drink here, are both delicious, especially on a hot day. Like I just said, we're suckers for sangria, so definitely worth a try. We both actually really love them.
Yeah, 100%. Aside from the grapefruit beer, like this is also a really good option. Yeah. Like, especially frozen, right? In the summer.
Something about frozen. Yeah, it's just perfect.
100%. In September, God, it was so hot the last time we were there in September. We anticipate it's going to be hot again.
I'll be grabbing another one at that point.
Almost certainly. Next up at the very top or middle of the World Showcase, if you're coming in the front entrance, and that's the American Pavilion. We're heading to the quick service location here, which is Regal Eagle. This is a barbecue style quick service restaurant, but they serve up some good onion rings and mac and cheese as options that are their sides, really. Mm-hmm. So that can qualify as a smaller bite that you can have as a snack. Pair that with a Tennessee lemonade, which is a simple classic drink that we enjoy on a hot EPCOT day as well. And it's a perfect way to kind of wash down your snack.
Absolutely.
We really like the indoor seating here as well. On a scorching day, it's really nice inside there.
It's very nice.
The little dining room they have it's
perfect. It's kind of like a bench style, long tables with just long benches.
Yeah, and it's open and airy.
Yeah, but you're not going to be sitting with people just shoulder to shoulder. There's plenty of space.
Yeah, there is. If you're craving a classic funnel cake treat, there's a stand closer to the Japan Pavilion side of the American Pavilion that has funnel cakes year round. So you can find traditional options, but it'll also feature fun seasonal options as well throughout the year, depending on what's going on. And we said we wouldn't cover festival treats, but Food and Wine is starting in August. And if they bring back the fresh carrot cake with cream cheese icing cake at the Flavors of America booth, it'll be worth a stop here for this sweet treat, okay? I'm a sucker for carrot cake with good cream cheese frosting, especially in the fall months.
For sure.
And we had this last time we were at Food and Wine, and it was really good.
It was delicious.
So if it's there and you're there for Food and Wine, definitely stop for that.
Absolutely. If you're walking into the Japan Pavilion from the American Pavilion, on your left, right when you enter, you're going to find Kabuki Cafe. This counter location serves up kakigori, which is the most popular item here. And this is the Japanese shaved ice with your choice of flavor. So it's basically a snow cone, and it's super refreshing on a hot day. It's a very simple treat, but that's all it has to be. It hits the spot on those sweltering summer days. The flavors are excellent there. And at Katsura Grill, which is also another quick service location, you're going to find decent sushi. They have the California rolls, the veggie rolls, and spicy rolls with tuna and salmon. And inside the pavilion, when it's available, you can find the violet sake at Garden House. It'll sometimes float over to Katsura Grill. Either way, whenever you find it, it's definitely delicious and Instagrammable cocktail. It's really pretty.
Almost certainly. Like if you've seen anything on social media from the Japan Pavilion, it's probably the violet sake. It's really, really popular.
Yeah.
And it is a pretty drink and it's super tasty.
Absolutely.
Okay. In our opinion, Morocco is probably the most underrated pavilion when it comes to food and drink.
Yeah.
It's sneaky good, and some of our favorite savory options are actually located here. So over at Oasis Sweet and Sips, there's a ton of pastry options. They're quite small, so you can purchase them individually or in assortments of 3, 5, and 7. The best in our opinion is the pistachio baklava, which is delicious, but don't sleep on the treats here. Wash it down with a frozen mint tea, which is tasty, and you can get it spiked with Bombay Sapphire Gin. They also have a good sangria here. And over at Tangerine Cafe, Flavors of the Medina across the way, there's 2 delicious savory options here that are 100% worth a stop for. So the stone-baked Moroccan bread is served with hummus, chermoula, and zouk dips. And it's literally so good.
Amazing.
It's kind of like puffy, and it's served warm.
Yeah.
And those dips are fresh. It's
refreshing.
Just super, super good.
We had just had it for the first time not that long ago, and we will continue to have it every single time now, I think.
Probably 2 trips ago, yeah, 100%.
So good.
And also the grilled chermoula chicken kebab with carrot chickpea salad and garlic aioli was also delicious.
Delicious, yeah.
100% recommend it. Both are really good, and we love to pair these together. And like we said, Morocco is a sleeper hit. don't sleep on Morocco.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would just walk straight through Morocco, not even think to even kind of look around. Take your time, look around, stop and have a treat.
It's such a pretty pavilion as well.
And obviously the cast members that work there are fantastic, and definitely Morocco top of our list for sure.
Yep.
So next up is France, and it's overloading with snack options. There are so many tasty treats here. This is right up there with Germany, and it's a really good candidate for the best pavilion when it comes to food. And actually, overall, we just love the vibes here. The music that plays near Remy's Ratatouille Adventure Attraction, everything just 100%.
Works. It's that like kind of sweet music that plays at the start of the attraction, and I love the vibes there. And
like Belle is my favorite princess, obviously, and her story is in France, so I obviously have a very big connection to it as well.
Yeah, agreed.
So for treats, let's first head into Les Halles, Boulangerie, Pâtisserie for literally anything you want. No word of a lie. We've never tried anything bad here. Everything is really good to great. So for savory options, our personal favorite is the croissant jambon fromage, which is ham, cheese, and bechamel in this fresh croissant. And my, oh my, this is delicious. Other good options are the lobster bisque inside of a carved bread bowl, any of the kinds of quiche they have, full baguettes, among many others. For sweets, the beignet filled with hazelnut chocolate, which is basically Nutella and is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for Nutella.
Absolutely. The chocolate croissant, the croissant filled with almond filling, chocolate eclair, crème brûlée, macarons, like you can just go on and on. There's 100%. Literally so many options. And again, all delicious and all made fresh in-house. It's just so good. And when you're standing in the line, you kind of get a little bit of time because there's usually a little bit of a lineup to like view everything. Everything looks amazing. It's pretty hard to pick one, really, to be honest with you.
Because so when you walk in there, it's kind of like a big U shape. Yeah. And all of the...
You start in one line and then you fan outside. Like one party goes left, then the next right, then left, then right.
Yeah, 100%. And there's these like glass cases that have like all the sweet treats and all the savory treats, and you can see everything, right? And that's what it is. They take it and they warm it up.
Absolutely.
Or serve it cool depending on what it is. And it's just, it's hard not to like want to order everything.
Agreed. So they also have specialty coffees and cocktails, and the frosé is delicious. Don't sleep on that one. It's so good.
Yeah, agreed.
This place is popular and never does not have a line, like we were saying, for good reasons. It's just that good. Everybody knows about it. Everybody wants to try it. And not far from the entrance to Les Halles, over at l'Artisan des Glaces, they have their own amazing treats. It's basically an ice cream shop that serves delicious ice cream and sorbet, but that's not doing it justice. It's so much more than that. You can get macarons or macaron ice cream sandwiches, which is your choice of fresh macaron with ice cream to die for, or the hugely popular croque glacé, which is your choice of ice cream and sauce pressed inside of a brioche bun. Epic. They basically cut the brioche bun in half, put a scoop of ice cream and whichever sauce you choose on the bottom bun, add the top, and then the whole thing goes into like kind of a panini press, but like a just like a sandwich press for a few seconds to seal the edges, and voila, you've got a hot and savory treat with the contrast of cold and sweet. It all works. It's delicious.
Yeah, 100%. I think I had the salted caramel ice cream with
you're
caramel.
A sucker for caramel.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my God, was it good?
Yeah, you quite enjoyed that one. I obviously snacked on it as well, but you quite enjoyed that one.
It was definitely a hit for me. Over at Les Vins des Chefs de France, which is a walk-up bar, kind of like on the main strip there, is where you'll find those ultra-popular boozy slushes that you see all over social media. They're popular for a reason. They're all good, and they're refreshing on a hot day, but they are expensive, so something to keep in mind. They're like at least $15.
And they're not that big, really.
No,
like for $15.
100%. Like it's 100%. And deeper in the pavilion, not far from Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, you'll find Crêpes à Emporter, which is a counter location attached to the table service like Crêperie de Paris. Here you'll find simple but delicious sweet and savory crepes, right? For savory, the cream of brie cheese crepe, the cheese, ham, and bechamel crepe are both solid options. For sweet, there's the butter and sugar crepe, which is kind of like the classic, the hazelnut and chocolate spread crepe, which is amazing. And then the red berries crepe, or the chocolate or vanilla ice cream crepes. You can't go wrong with any of these, to be honest. They're all delicious. Last time we had the red berries and the hazelnut spread one. We've had the savory ones as well. Like they're all good.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with any of them. And again, not to mention the festival, but we're going to mention the festival. The France Booth Festival is always fire here. It's consistently among the best of the fest. As you can see, there's lots of tasty snacks in France all year round, even without the festival booth.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. And heading back down towards the UK pavilion, our first stop will be at Yorkshire County Fish Shop for one reason only, and that's the beer battered fish and chips, right? So this can definitely qualify as more of a meal because it is, right? But it can be more of a snack if you share it, and that's what we call it, a snack, because we share it.
We share pretty much everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Except for the beer.
Yeah, exactly. And it is delicious. The batter's crispy, the fish is tasty, and it pairs well with the chips, right? Add some malt vinegar or tartar sauce to taste, and you'll get a seriously tasty and savory treat. You can also stop in Rose and Crown Pub for a beverage. So a thing to note here is the dining room actually requires advanced dining reservations, but the bar, you don't need reservations for, right? You can simply walk up and order whatever you'd like. One of our favorites here is a blend called the Snake Bite, and it's half cider, half harp lager, and that just goes nicely with the fish and chips. Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Love the UK pavilion. I just like walking through there. I think it's such a beautiful pavilion as well. And their snacks are on par. It gives you that UK feel. We've been to London and I've been to Wales and stuff, and we just, it gives you that vibe, a really good vibe there.
Yeah, 100%.
And lastly, after having gone through all the World Showcase, we're heading into the Canadian Pavilion. Here you're going to find an unassuming popcorn snack cart that serves a unique treat. And this is where you're going to find the maple popcorn, which is a fun spin on the classic treat.
Yep.
It's good and it's definitely worth trying. But if we had to pick, we would still prefer the caramel popcorn at Caramel Cucce. Sorry, Canada. We love you. We're from here. But
it's just so
we love our maple syrup, but there's something about the caramel popcorn that just tops it.
Yeah, agreed.
A big pro for this snack cart location is that you can actually refill your popcorn bucket with maple popcorn and pay $2.25 instead of the $6.50. You're actually not able to do that at Caramel Cucce for the caramel popcorn. I just can't remember if we mentioned that earlier, so we thought we should.
Yeah, good point.
You can't do that there. And if you are in the mood for a true classic Canadian snack, you can get a poutine from the refreshment port right next to World Showcase. Throughout the year, they have the classic poutine offering with cheese, curds, and gravy, but they will also get specialty seasonal versions as well on a rotational basis.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
The classic poutine.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap this up here with a couple of honorable mentions that are actually outside of the World Showcase on either side of the park. So if you find yourself in the Land Pavilion after you just finished a ride on Soarin' and you're feeling peckish, you can stop at Sunshine Seasons for a sweet treat. A couple of our favorites here are the Turtle Brownie and the Peanut Butter Whoopie Pie. So it's essentially, the whoopie pie is two soft chocolate cookies with a more of a cake consistency and a peanut butter filling with kind of shaved chocolate all around. It's really good. I'm an absolute sucker for peanut butter and I love anything peanut butter, and this is no different. It's
and
really
caramel,
tasty.
Yeah. He's got a sweet tooth.
Apparently I do, yeah. And on the other side of the park in World Discovery at Connections Cafe, you'll find the Liege waffle with pearl sugar, strawberries, whipped cream, and chocolate sauce. So depending on the time of year, they'll have seasonal takes on this as well. For example, last year during Food and Wine, there was a Remy Liege waffle. Keep an eye on the menu and see what's on offer during your trip if that interests you. So with all that said, this is not an exhaustive list of all the available snacks in the World Showcase. There's literally so many options, right? It's impossible to do it all in one trip. This is one of the reasons why we love EPCOT, right? So every trip we feel like we're trying something new and getting some of our consistent favorites as well. So it's a win-win. We always love snacking at EPCOT.
Oh, it's one of our favorite things to do.
Yeah, 100%. And you may disagree with us and you may have different favorites or are not a big fan of the ones we mentioned. And that's totally cool. Different folks like different things and that's okay. Hopefully though, this gave you a good idea of some of the snacks you can find here year round, even when there's not a festival on the go, and you'll be able to make a list of a couple snacks that you may want to try.
Absolutely. So thanks for tuning in and joining us today to talk about one of our favorite topics, food at EPCOT. Make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any future episodes. And also, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It helps us increase our reach so that we can help more people have great vacations.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at letsgo.to-disney, as well as our Facebook page, Let's Go to Disney. We share some more tips there and have some fun as well. Have a great day, and we'll see you real soon.